Welcome to another Wright Way Wednesday. And a financial tip for you is to invest in a startup company. There's a lot of people who are starting up a business or starting up a company or trying to do something that's innovative. And it's important that in terms of getting your finances probably better and in better standing, is to invest in a company that's actually just starting up or a startup business, because oftentimes when businesses are getting started, our corporations, they need funding and they need money and they need people to actually help them out so that they can actually get their idea or whatever it is started. That's why people, if you watch the show Shark Tanks, people go on there because they have an idea and they have started something, but they need funding to actually get it done. And so if you can catch something on the way going up, it will be definitely great for you in the future. A good example of this also too is with Michael Jordan and him getting with Nike. And Nike was not a big business at the time, but they eventually grew. So by him getting started with them in the beginning before they blew up, this definitely helped his pocketbooks. But on tonight, my subject matter that I want to talk to you all about is getting rest so that you can get through your day-to-day troubles. Hey, and don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment on this video. And definitely, depending on where you're watching it from, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. But enough of all of that. Let's get into it. Okay, so a good text for us to definitely look at is the book of Mark, chapter 4, um, verse 35 to 41, and it reads, "And the same day when the evening was come, he said unto them, Let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitudes, they took him even as he was in the ship. And there were also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awoke him and said unto him, Master, care thou not that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the winds and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the winds ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are ye fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? And they feared exceedingly, and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obeys him? This is Mark chapter 4, verse 35 to 41. And this is definitely a great text to definitely look at in terms of letting the sun go down and you getting some rest to actually know that things will get better in the morning. So it's definitely important that for a lot of us, number one, we should definitely get some rest. Definitely in this life that we live, a lot of things keep us busy with our time, and a lot of things just keep us where we don't really sometimes have enough time to actually rest. So a lot of people, instead of getting some good rest, they will rather stay up and work themselves. I was about to say to death, but hopefully not. But definitely work themselves so much that they sometimes have to take rest, whether that may be them having to check into the hospital or them having to just lie down for a little bit or start having health issues because they don't actually take or get enough rest. So it's important that, with the cares of this world and the cares of people, one person can't do it all. And I think this is a good example in the beginning of this passage because it lets us know that even Jesus, showing us the way, that he actually said, hey, I'm going to get some rest. I got to get some rest. I've been working and doing all this stuff with all these people, but it's time for me to actually get some rest. And so I think that's something that's very important for all of us to know that we have to get some rest sometimes. You can do a whole lot of things, but eventually you are going to need to actually rest. Now, another good thing in this actual scripture to point out is the fact that the disciples, when they were afraid and they didn't know what to do, even though they knew that Jesus was resting and he was actually getting his rest, they still went to him because they were in a time where they didn't know what to do. Things didn't seem like it was going right. So they decided to go to Jesus so that Jesus can actually help them out. So it's important for us too to look at this example of them and definitely see that, when things just ain't going right in your life, when things aren't the way that you would want them to be, when you don't know what your next move is or your next step is, go to God and go to Jesus and go to prayer about it, because even though it may be a frightful thing, and even though you don't know your way, he knows the way and he can definitely help you out. So go to him. He wants you to go to him. He wants you to believe in him and trust in him. So in the same sense, you see that in the scripture, they went to Jesus and he wakes up and then he actually stops the wind and he rebukes the wind. And then he lets them know afterwards, why were they so afraid? Don't they have any faith? To basically know that everything is going to be all right, And so this is something for us to think about when we're going through trials, tribulations, bad times, when things aren't going our way. Even though, things may not be going the way we want them to go, we should know that if we have Jesus on our side, it may not get better right when we want it, but eventually, if we stay steadfast and trusting in him, then things will get better. So, this is another Right Way Wednesday. Now, I did mention at the end, it definitely talks about in verse 41, it says, and they feared exceedingly and said one to another, what manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obeys him? So you see that when Jesus was doing things in their lives, they definitely had a fear of him, and this fear of him, I believe, helped them to actually respect him as God and to actually trust in him. And I think oftentimes with some of us, we don't have the fear of God in us, so sometimes we're willing to do any and everything against him because we don't have the fear of him in us and knowing that he is God. But as always, people should know the way, go the way, and show the way, the right way.